I don't need a microphone. Right? My name is Alisa. I am the teaching artist from Minnesota Opera. I brought a slideshow together because sometimes I get really nervous and I don't know what to say next, so I bring pictures to tell me what to do. So you guys are going to get to see some pictures up here. An idea from a couple of you guys. What do you think opera is? Just raise up hands so I don't hear everything at once. Yeah, in the back. Singing. What else? Yeah. Like a play with singing. Someone said yelling. Just because I'm yelling now does not mean that we yell at the opera. It is controlled yelling. Thank you very much. Yes, it's like a play, but we're singing. What else? It's a whole lot more than that, guys. Yeah. Vocalizing. Vocalizing. Yes. It's classical music. Yes. What else can we add to it? There's a whole lot more. How many of you ever seen an opera before? Okay, couple. Nice. That means that a lot of you guys are going to get a chance to learn something new today if you haven't seen an opera before. My job for the opera is called a teaching artist. What do you think that means? So we understand that I work for the opera, but what is a teaching artist? What makes me different than just a teacher? Yeah? I can't quite hear you. Someone help pass a message up. What does it say? What are you saying? Because I'm teaching stuff about vocalizing, I think is what you said. Yep. I'm an artist. I'm an artist first and foremost. I'm an opera singer, and I've spent 6 years in college learning how to do this thing called opera. When I was your age, you guys are in middle school, like what, 6th, 7th, 8th grade right now? I lived on a farm in Iowa. I knew nothing about opera. Yet I found something that I like to do, and I pursued it to its biggest degree. I liked singing, and this is by far the hardest kind of singing because it has the longest tradition, right? So when we think about opera, these words might come to mind, right? It's timeless. It's 500 years old. There's a reason we keep doing it, right? It's drama, it's tragic, it's singing, it's music, it's visual, it's tactile, all these things. In fact, opera is the kind of art form where if you like any kind of arts, you're going to see it when you go to see the opera. Any kind of arts. We do everything all at the same time. That does not mean me as the opera singer does everything, right? But I'm part of something much bigger. Whereas in a play, we're just using our speaking voices and going back, and we have all the set and the costumes and everything else. But in the opera, we also have an orchestra, and we're singing everything we say, and we don't just sing. We sing in other languages too. So it's an international world art form. Again, I grew up in the middle of nowhere. I had no idea this was there, but this is something anybody can attain to do. And it's art on its biggest scale. This is what one of our sets at the opera looks like. So we have to have designers. We have to have people who are the most creative, innovative thinkers to make something like this come to life. It started with a drawing. Then we had to hand it off to people who can build it. People who can imagine what kind of materials are needed to put something that big on stage. It looks like it's made out of metal, but it's made out of foam, that sculpture in the middle. Really creative ideas. How can we get something to be put on stage that we can move very easily off? We're going to have singers walking all around that. Where's the safety? We have an entire orchestra that plays continuously through the entire opera. So it doesn't matter, again, what your medium is in the arts. In opera, we have it. You guys ever heard of The Shining? Yes. So we did The Shining last year. We write brand new operas at Minnesota Opera. So we do stories that are current now, today. Just like in movies, there are new stories that are popping up all the time. Sometimes we do remakes of old ones, right? But we started doing new things with technology and having our entire set being cast over in projection. So people who are really great in computers and new kinds of technology and arts, we need you in the opera because we are now going into a whole other world of stage design. Opera starts out as a story. First and foremost, an opera is a story. When I go around to schools and I'm talking to especially younger kids, a lot of them they couldn't have raised their hands like you guys did and said, opera's this, opera's that. They don't know, right? They're just little, they don't know. So I'm gonna do what I do with them for you guys, because then you can teach people younger than you. If you can walk away teaching someone something, that's great, right? So we're gonna shake out our hands. I'm gonna give you guys the definition of an opera. Not to mention, you're all just sitting around, so you can move your hands, right? Move around, get your blood going. Oh, you know, I love doing this because then I can see who's listening to me. Okay, shake out your hands and stop. Interesting. I didn't say shake your hands and talk to your neighbor. It happens every time, don't worry. We're gonna shake out our hands. This is just to get your blood flowing, get you to be looking at me. We're all here together. You're gonna repeat after me. You're gonna say singing. Singing. You guys can do that so much better. I'm sorry, here we go. You all have a voice, let me hear it. We're gonna say singing. Singing. Yes, story. Story. Opera. What? Shake out your hands. Sit up nice and tall. Put your feet on the ground. We are using our bodies as our instruments. Hands out. We're going to do this together. Here we go. Sing, story. Opera is a story. A story that we sing. Easiest definition of opera ever. Operas are stories that we sing. In the opera, we don't just call those stories stories, we call them a libretto, because everything we do in opera has to do with Italian. Because operas were born in Italy, so as much as we can, we talk in Italian. A libretto. Go ahead and say it. Libretto. Yes. You're gonna try to sound more Italian. I don't know if Italians really sound like that. I think I learned that from movies. Okay. So we have a story. We need to have the music, right? It's not just music that we sing, although it's what we think of most of the time in operas. We do have to have all the wonderful musicians in the orchestra playing, right? All these things coming together help tell the story. Do you guys think operas are short? No. They're long. But yet the word libretto, the word that defines our story, that says what our story is, it means a little book in Italian. The word literally means little book. So something happens when we turn into music. That story gets really long. For instance, in the opera Carmen by Georges Bizet. It's an opera set in Spain, but it's written in French because the composer was French and it starts getting really complicated. Don't worry. One of the words is l'amour. Everyone say l'amour. It means love. Try it again. It feels good in your mouth. L'amour. Thank you very much for your awesome attendance and listening to me. You're being awesome. Here we go. We are going to hear what Bizet does with the libretto of Carmen. He says, l'amour est enfant d'un bohème. Il n'a jamais, jamais connu de loi. L'amour, l'amour est enfant de bohème. Il n'a jamais, jamais connu de loi. We heard that tune before? Maybe some of us? Yeah? So, listen one more time. L'amour est enfant de bohème. You can say it really fast, right? Listen how many times we repeat ourselves in the opera. L'amour, l'amour, l'amour. For emphasis, when your teachers say, why do we repeat something? It's not just for emphasis, it's to learn. But operas are supposed to be entertaining and fun, and no, you as an audience learn something about the character Carmen. She is saying the word love. 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 Love is like a bird that flies away. Right, so we learned something immediately from her than saying, love is like a bird that flies away. Love, 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 like love. We get to become somebody, right? Would you say Carmen is a shy character? She sings love like that? No, we learned something immediately. So in opera, we're telling stories through the character, right? And even though it's a language that we might not know, we have, just like in movies when something's in another language, we translate everything, so you'll get to know. But the stories are something that you might already know too. Oh yay, opera's for everybody. Okay, the stories. Stories you guys already know. A lot of opera seems very mysterious because it is 500 years old. So we have centuries of stories that we're telling. But we also have timeless stories. Stories you guys know just by looking at the pictures from our productions. What's this one? Pinocchio. Pinocchio. It's been turned into an opera. It's a story from all around the world. We just sing it. If you know the story, you know the opera. You just get to learn the music when you experience it. Same thing about this one. It's harder to tell, but imagine her costume. Our costumes tell stories too, right?
Beauty and the Beast.
Not quite Beauty and the Beast, but it, look at how like she's all drapey and the way that the light is. What does the light tell us where they might be? The forest, or even like really dip into your imaginations. Dip into your imagination.
The water.
The ocean, the Little Mermaid. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see like there's the witch, and what we don't call her the Little Mermaid or Ariel, she's Rusalka. It's an ancient story about the mermaid who wants to become a human, right? We tell that story in the opera. This one, it's a maid who goes to a ball. Cinderella. Also a timeless story. Down here it's harder to tell, but I bet you guys have heard the story of the two kids that get lost in the woods. Hansel and Gretel. So a timeless story, but again, we're not just singers in the opera. We are creators, we are designers, we are thinkers. The director of the opera said, everybody knows the story of the kids who get lost in the woods. Let's take it out of that context. Let's put it in a carnival. Set the whole entire story in a carnival. So that the witch becomes a creepy clown. Yeah, right? And the kids are just like normal kids. It's a scenario that could possibly happen, right? So it's less fairy tale, more realistic. So we just need all sorts of different kind of creative artists to be part of the opera. We do new operas, like I said at the beginning, we did The Shining last year. This year we're doing Dinner at 8. We are one of the leading opera companies in the entire world, especially in the nation, though, writing brand new works right here in your community, guys. We perform in downtown St. Paul. We're based in downtown Minneapolis. We use as many local artists as we can in our pit, in our orchestra, on the stage, as our stagehands, in the chorus that we sing, and then we bring in international singers to our opera to sing for our audiences. So it's both international and local. And I got really excited, and I clicked ahead. So we're going to talk about my career path. How did I get there? How am I doing something like this? I grew up in a small town in Iowa. I grew up on a farm outside of a small town of Iowa. I graduated with 50 people. The closest school was another 45 minutes away from me. I lived on a gravel road that when it snowed, I couldn't go to school sometimes because gravel freezes faster than and stays frozen longer than hardtop roads. So it was like hardtop school days, right? So I loved music. I went to college. They said, you have a talent. You can do something with that. It's not just plays and musicals. There is more. Everything you like to do, there's more. I chose to go all the way in singing, and I chose opera. I just got like the minute hand. So instead of telling you everything that I did to do there, this is me, getting backstage, getting my wig on. The opera, right? I also go out and I teach kids, just like you, about what I do. I teach little kids too, because I think it's important to know not to wait until you're 19 like I found out. Learn as soon as you can. Look at that. That's us performing with a bunch of kids. We have lots of different, oh, that's me. This is everybody that works at the opera. It's also a business. We can forget about that for a minute, because I'm going to sing really quick. Okay? So, really quickly, I'll try to sing it a little bit faster. Opera was written in Italian first, so I'm going to sing something in Italian for you. I'm going to be a girl named Lauretta. And Lauretta has a father named Johnny Schicchi, happens to be the name of the opera. Johnny Schicchi. Everyone say Johnny Schicchi. Johnny Schicchi. Very good. She has to convince Johnny Schicchi, her dad, that she can get married, except he doesn't like the guy that she wants to get married to. And so she tries at first to say, Daddy, please. I just want to get married. I just want a ring. That's all it is, Dad. And that doesn't work. So she's like, fine. And she throws a major temper tantrum, and she says, if you won't let me get married, I'm going to throw myself off the bridge and die in the river. And it will all be your fault. So please, Daddy, just say yes. And he says yes. Strangely, the music sounds a little bit different.
Our mission is to supply students in classrooms with the instruments and the tools they need to have successful art and music programs.
We are lean, entrepreneurial, nonprofit organizations looking to make a big social impact. And we find that when we pool our resources together, we can get a lot more done. We can have a greater impact and provide music education to more students in our state and perhaps throughout the country.
Instruments are going to help the kids be able to have their own instrument so that they don't have to share, be able to take them home, get practice time in. Really our goal is to make sure that every kid has access to musical instruments. A lot of times it takes money to have a musical instrument, to take lessons, and to be a part of a music program. And we want to make sure that there are no economic boundaries, that every child has the opportunity to experience music.